Namaste. Oh, if you are an entrepreneur like me, you probably know that it takes a lot more effort to convert a new customer than to hold on to a loyal one. So, how do we keep our customers coming back? Well, stick around because today we are diving into the topic of client retention. And if this is your first time joining us, whether you're watching live on LinkedIn right now, or you are listening to us, watching us on YouTube, or listening to us on one of your favorite podcast platforms. I am Gloria Grace, the light messenger and spiritual business coach. And I have had some amazing clients over the years, especially even before I did coaching when I was doing copywriting. But the ones that truly stand out for me are the ones who have been my repeat clients. It's a wonderful feeling when you get someone coming back who hires you again. For to do more work for you. It's wonderful because, and frankly, they are the lifeblood of your business, which is why I wanted to talk about this really important subject today. So let's dive into it. So why is it so important to be able to focus your attention on client retention? Well, not only is it frankly uh, a little bit easier, certainly, to be able to have someone have a repeat client come back to you, but it's also more cost effective too. And I found some really interesting statistics that I would want to share with you. So, number one, the first one is that acquiring a new customer can actually cost 5 times more than retaining an existing customer. And you get a lot of bang for your buck when you do so because increasing customer retention by just 5% can actually boost your profits by anywhere from 25, I should say 25 to 95%, almost double your profits. And the success rate of selling to a customer you already have is 60 to 70%, while the success rate of selling to a new customer is only about 5 to 20%. And of course, if you have been in business for any length of time, I'm sure you know the reason why. It's because to sell to a new customer, to sell to an existing customer, the reason why it's easy to get them to invest in your products and services again is because you've already built up that know, like, and trust factor with them. So let's look at the flip side though. Why do customers leave and you're not able to get them to come back and buy from you again? Well, it comes down to there's a lot of different reasons. I'm just going to share with you 4 right now. You go on Google and you'll find tons and tons. But I'm going to share with you these 4 because I think these are about the most important ones. Number 1, poor service or poor product if you happen to sell a product. But I'm a service entrepreneur, so I usually focus on services, but that's absolutely a big deal. If you're not providing the service that you said you were going to do, or you're not, or the product turns out to be really not what they expected, then you're going to have a big trouble in being able to obviously sell to them again. Another reason sometimes people won't buy from you again is because they feel neglected. You're not staying, which actually leads into this next one, which is a lack of communication. So you're not staying in touch with them. You're not following up with them to find out what they need or to find out even if they were satisfied. And of course, the other reason may simply be that they just no longer need your service for whatever reason. Maybe whatever it is, you solved a problem for them. They don't have that problem anymore, and so they don't need to buy from you. And that's okay. There's definitely going to be people like that. And that's why you should have some other products or services in your pipeline that might then solve the next problem that comes up for them that now they have as a result of you solving that first problem. That's a whole topic for another episode, I think. So I'm not even going to go down there. What I am going to talk about is again, let's delve a little deeper into why is it that we might have trouble retaining clients. And I'm going to tell you that I have experienced this certainly in the past. Certainly when I first started my business, I wasn't always very good at it. And it is because I had some problems with my mindset, but in particular issues with things like self-esteem, things like that show up actually as imposter syndrome. And I've actually talked about this on the podcast before. So go back in and Google live, love, engage imposter syndrome. And I think you'll probably find an episode. And now that I think about it, I'll have to put a link to that one in the show notes. I know I'm sure I've done one. I know I've written blog articles about it before. Anyway, that's one sometimes what can prevent us from being able to sell to a client again, or even a fear of success. And how this all what this looks like in practical terms, if you've got imposter syndrome, if you've got this feeling that maybe you're not really worthy to sell to this person, or you have some sort of fear of success. What happens is that typically these things aren't really in our conscious mind. They are limiting beliefs that are buried deep within our subconscious. And how that then how this translates is that we wind up sabotaging our own efforts to be able to reach out to clients, and that then winds up with us. It becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy in a way, is because then we deliver poor service, or we don't follow up with people, and we aren't staying in good communication with our clients. And when you do that, even though you certainly didn't consciously intend to do that, you might start procrastinating or things like that, and then that's why people aren't wanting to do business with you or to continue doing business with you. So now that I think you understand a little bit about what the downside is, certainly. I mean, and certainly the downside of not being able to consistently keep your clients coming back is that you're not going to be able to grow your business as fast. You're going to be constantly struggling to get new customers into your pipeline. And so that just causes a lot more stress. So let's talk about the good news. How do we build strong client relationships? Because there are definitely practical ways for you to be able to do this. And that is a wonderful thing. So let's start off with, we were just talking about communication. So talking about communication, the one thing I've learned, and especially if you do business with younger people, I'll say, let's see, what is it, Generation Z now or something we're onto, but even with older folks like me, when you start a relationship with a client and you bring on a new client, ask them how they want to stay connected to you. How do they want you to communicate with them? What is their best way? Is it they only want to hear from you via email? Or maybe they're okay with you calling on the phone once in a while. Maybe they prefer texting. Maybe they like Messenger or WhatsApp. But your very first thing, well, not the very first thing, but I would say one of the first things you do in this building this relationship with a client is to ask them how, not only how they want to communicate with you, but also how frequently they want to communicate with you, or they want to hear from you. Because some people may be happy to hear from you once a week. Some people may, maybe to keep you updated on a particular project you're working on. Some people, maybe they only want to hear from you when the job is done. But be aware of that. Find out how they want to best communicate with you. And then that's going to help you to be able to then meet their expectations. And then you will hopefully also then deliver a good product or service to them, which is definitely one of the things you need to do. And then they will be more inclined to buy from you again later. And a couple other things to do is to treat your client as an individual. Everybody is different, and make sure that you respect them as a person. You also should be open-minded about what they want. And here's a big thing, is to manage expectations. This is a biggie. This is a biggie, and this is something that I feel is so important, where sometimes people can really get themselves in trouble. As entrepreneurs, you can get yourself in trouble if you're not setting expectations. This can lead to strife for both you and the customer. So for instance, if you want to be able to only work a certain number of hours during the day and you want to have your weekends free, then you need to let the client know that ahead of time. However, you might also extend to them the courtesy of saying, "Hey, you can always email me, or if it's an emergency, you can text me on the weekends, but know that I may not get back to you right away." As long as you let them know that ahead of time, then they're not gonna get upset with you if they suddenly have a problem and they can't get a hold of you. That's you definitely don't want that to happen, because that's gonna really mess you up big time. And the other thing is to understand your client's goals. Again, this is find out, what do they want? What do they need? How quickly do they want to have something uh, delivered to it? And I'll just speak from my experience as a copywriter, for instance, is that when I would send out a proposal, I would say that I can get this job done by X. It will take me maybe X amount of weeks to get it done. And then they knew when to expect it to be done. So, and I would do that in conversation with them beforehand to say, "Okay, is this something that you need done in a hurry?" And then if it was, then I could do something to change my schedule in order to be able to accommodate them, and then let them know. And also, another thing that you can do is to speak your client's language. Don't speak in terms that they don't understand. Sometimes if you're in a particular business, sometimes you can get into using certain buzzwords or abbreviations that your client isn't used to. So make sure that you're actually simplifying things. Make sure you're on explaining things, and then also asking them questions too. And here's another tip that I just remembered as well, is when you're having conversations with someone, to then restate it back to them and say, "Okay, as I understand it, you want me to do XYZ." And that gives them a chance to say, no, not X. Y and Z, yes. Excuse me, but not X. And that way, again, it's that making sure that you've got clear communication all the way through the process, so there's never any misunderstandings. And when as people, as human beings, we all like to be heard. We all want to be understood. And this is so important in a client relationship with you as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, or if you've got team members also. Make sure you're training your staff to be able to talk to people this way. It's so important that you respect them, and to really, again, manage expectations and understand what they need. The one other thing that you can do, and to be able to build a strong relationship, and also to encourage repeat sales from your clients, is to get feedback. Get feedback from them, either in the middle of the process or certainly after you're done. Uh, send out a survey, or even just call them on the phone and say, "Hey, how did we do?" But find out. You can, or send an email or something, but follow up with them, make sure that they are completely satisfied, and if not, ask them what they need to be able to become satisfied. And if you do want to send surveys, there's lots of different things that you can use. You can create a Google form or things like that. I've used SurveyMonkey before. You can create, and it doesn't have to be a long thing. It could be just a couple of questions, very simple, and just ask them, what did they like about the service? Was there anything that you could do that could make things better the next time? And here's another tip also is if make sure if you do a survey where you're asking them to l- leave a comment, ask them if then you can use that comment in as a testimonial. Use it on your website, use it in social media, ask permission. And you could also ask them to endorse you on LinkedIn or to do a Google review, something like that. But definitely that's a little bit different from surveying how they want, but if they were satisfied, I would say is once you do the survey, find out they're satisfied and they're happy with what you did, then you can maybe go that next step then and say, "Hey, if you would be so kind as to leave me a review, I would really, really appreciate it." So, one last thing I want to share with you because there's so much. I mean, I could do like a whole masterclass on this, but I don't want to keep you too long today, but I want to be able to make this point is there are other wonderful ways, and I want to share a story with you too about what happened to me recently. Other things that you can do to be able to foster a good relationship with your clients and to be able to encourage them to come back again and again is you can actually have some sort of a loyalty program. There's all the time nowadays, there, especially in like say restaurants, but even other companies, they have rewards programs and things like that. So the more that you buy, you acquire points, and then you can go ahead and you'll be able to buy something else with the credit, or maybe they'll send you out a coupon on your birthday, so to be able to get $25 off or $10 off, whatever. But there's lots of different ways you can do that. But I will say, and I meant to mention this with manage expectations, but this is how I want to go into sharing a story with you, is manage expectations, and then that gives you an opportunity to over deliver. Because I'm telling you, when you do something that is unexpected, when you surprise your clients with something unexpected, then oh my goodness, you're going to really foster that customer loyalty that you want. So I'm going to share with you something that happened recently for us. And so we have um, we have dogs, we have cats, and if you are a pet lover at all, you know that at some point, unfortunately, you're going to lose one of your pets. So we've been buying pet food from Chewy. So I'm giving them a shout out. Chewy, I recommend them, and they have done something recently that makes me want to continue to be a customer of them and to recommend them. So, unfortunately, last Friday, our dog Sophie, God love her, she was I think 11 years old, 11 or 12. She'd just been not doing well, and unfortunately she crossed the Rainbow Bridge, and so it was a sad day for us, and it also left us in a bit of a bind in that we had just recently ordered heart guard prevention medicine from Chewy. We get a 6-month supply because it's cheaper that way. So we'd only used up one of the medications for Sophie. And so I contacted Chewy, went ahead and went on their contacted customer service and said, what do we do about this medication? Is there anything that you can do for us? And the wonderful customer service guy that I spoke to said, "Well, it's a prescription medication, so unfortunately we can't take it back. I can't even give you a credit for it. So maybe what you could do is take it to your vet and they'll donate it to someone who doesn't have the funds to pay for it." And I was like, "Okay, that's a good idea." And then he says, "But I see that you just recently placed a dog food order with us. What I can do, it's about the same amount of money. I'll give you a credit on the dog food." I was like, "Yeah, good. Thank you. That's awesome." I love that. I thought that was great. And that would have been, if that was all that they had done, that was fine. I mean, that's certainly a wonderful way to be able to continue that good customer relationship with me. But they did something else. They went a step above. So this past Monday, we received a beautiful bouquet of flowers and a note from Chewy expressing sympathy at the loss of our pet. Holy moly. Now, I've lost pets in the past, and I've had, like, the vet would send a sympathy card, but they didn't send flowers. Now, granted, Chewy, much bigger company, they've got much bigger budget for doing things like this, for customer outreach like that, and you know what? Yay. Yay for them to do that, to take that extra time, to take that extra step, to invest in that type of relationship. Yeah, to be able to do that, I just thought was out of this world. So, think about ways that you could do that. Think about how you can stay in touch with your customers even after they've bought from you. I know there's a company send out cards that you can send people, again, cards on their birthdays, or maybe even just on Arbor Day, or, random days, random holidays, and just send them a card to let them know that you're thinking of them. It's these little touches, and I have to admit, I don't do enough of that, and I'm glad to be doing this episode today as a reminder to me that I need to step it up and do more. So, I would love to hear from you on what you've done. What do you do in your business to be able to build customer loyalty? Because if you've got some great ideas, then, we can all learn from one another. So you can definitely let me know. You can go to liveloveengagepodcast.com, and that will get you to my main website. There's a contact button down at the bottom. Go ahead and let me know. Just do that, or shoot me an email, or comment on social media. But I definitely would love to hear what experience you have in this respect, because I think it's really so important to invest that time and money, because again, it doesn't have to be, extravagant like flowers necessarily. But if you just take a little time, sometimes it's just even out of the blue, just calling them and saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" That little bit of that extra time is going to make you stand out from your competitors. And that's what's going to help them to, when you make another offer, people are going to say, "Oh, yeah, I really like that company. Yeah, I like that. I like that person. Yeah, what is she offering now? Let me check it out." And if I don't need it, they'll refer you to somebody else. That's another good thing too, is that building customer loyalty, not only is it good for getting them to come back, but when you do this, they then become your big cheerleaders and champions, and they will refer you to their friends. So that's another way, again, that you can grow your business. Now, I talked about earlier today, some of the reasons why a client might leave, and that sometimes it's because of what's going on unconsciously in our brain, how we might be unconsciously sabotaging our efforts. So if you find that you're maybe having some issues, and you're not quite sure why your business isn't growing the way it should be, and you would like to talk to someone about it, I encourage you to schedule a 20 minute power call with me, because I would love to be able to help you out in helping you to get clear on that. So it'll, well, we're going to help you during this call. Why am I saying we? Me. I'm going to do that. I'm going to help you to uncover really what is standing in your way. Take a look at what is keeping you from achieving the big impact that you want to have with your business. And I'll help you to be able to, figure out what is that one step that you can take right now that'll get you moving again in the right direction. And you'll get to experience a mini session of the love method, which is what I teach my clients to help you uh, to be able to start getting more clear and to be able to uncover things that let go of some of the limiting beliefs that are keeping you from achieving the life and the business that you want. So I hope that you will consider going to engage with Gloria right now, because that is going to be where you'll get a lot more details about what this power call is all about, and this will give you an opportunity to really start moving closer to your dreams. So, don't put off what your dream for your business should be. Don't wait. Get it done now. It's really important to do that, and I hope you will consider doing that. So, um, what I want to do now before we end our episode today is something that I always love to be able to share with you, and it's one of the tools I use if you do actually end up if we did wind up working together. This is one of the things that I use with my clients to not only not no, I don't want to say to not only to help you to gain some clarity, to be able to learn to trust your intuition more, and to help you really let go of whatever could be possibly keeping you stuck. And that is sharing light language with you. And if this is your first time today and you're like, what the heck is light language? I'll give you the short version of it. And I've done episodes on this before too, so you can check it out. But light language is a channeled message from a higher consciousness. It comes from I believe it comes from angelic realms. It can come from even galactic beings and things like that. But it's really ultimately what it is. It's a message of love that you don't necessarily understand with your brain, the logical part of your brain, but it doesn't matter, because what it is it speaks to your soul. It speaks to your heart, and that's all you really need to focus on. So I would encourage you, if you are somewhere listening to this right now, that where you don't have, where you're distracted, where you're driving, whatever it is you're doing, I would encourage you to come back to this podcast a little bit later and be able to then focus your attention. So I'm going to assume that you have done that now, and you're sitting somewhere where you can be still and quiet. So I encourage you to just close your eyes, take a deep breath, let it out, sort of get grounded. And what I would encourage you to do is to set an intention for yourself that the message that you are going to hear will be for your soul's highest good. And that's the message I'm intending for you to also receive today. 아깝네고 가녀도 가나 후에 고후에 후에 고후서야 고후서 고후에야 사고야 두쿠히 사야노 구해가 소쿠에 거리야코야 도키 과연노 구해 고시나 고투샤 거후야 도쿠 사고가호 사요노쿠에 가토 소후히토 샤코노 코리야마 거시노 코리아 판타 쿠이타 해 가니오노 고파마 카리안타 기카 샤타토이카 koyotokoshiya, konnakariya, konkariantoko, hisakoshakoniyana, kariatokoreapata kishaka, sokoshikata. I hope you received that with the love and light that it was intended for. And I just realized that I didn't have time or totally forgot to type up a banner for this. So I'm just going to let you know, and I will put it it will be in the YouTube link. It will be in the show notes that for the month of September 2023, I am offering a free introductory language session for new clients. It's a 15-minute session. And if you go to gloriarand.com/intro, you'll find out all the information about it. You'll be able to book a session there. And I'm going to put that in the show notes because I totally forgot about that I was doing that. Shame on me. Because that's one of the things that you can do to also attract new clients, certainly. And then my intention with that is that they will enjoy it and then they will want to come back and do it again and again with me. So I'm so grateful that you've spent some time with me today, and I hope that you will take to heart and start implementing some of the things I talked about today so that you can build a really robust business. And again, if you maybe were confused about something I said or you want some clarification, again, go to engagewithgloria.com, schedule that 20-minute power call, and let's get you rocking and rolling because we're in the last quarter of 2023 already, just about, almost. We're almost to the last quarter. And this year is flying by. So I want you to end 2023 on a wonderful note. All right. Until next time, as always, I love to encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.